You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and happy last day of March. It feels like the time is quite literally flying by, and March is going out with a bang because we've got some dramatic moon transits to talk about today. Full disclosure, the most drama from the week already happened. We had that Venus-Uranus conjunction yesterday. We had a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction. So today's forecast is really going to be all about the moon's transits through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you're joining me live, so happy you're here. I hope your week is coming into a nice, relaxing end. Hi, Nick. Hey, Corby. Let me know how the energy is feeling if you're tuning in. If you're finding this video later, I will add markers to the timeline so you can jump to whichever day, whichever transit you are looking for guidance on. Corby says, I can't take any more drama. I feel you. I feel you, Corby. As much as I thought, I'm aware of the transits, I can navigate anything that pops up yesterday, at least, because, yesterday we talked a lot about upsets and changes and, the moon opposing Pluto. Whew, it was a wild ride. I don't know about you, but at least we just have the moon to talk about now, although the moon is in Leo today. And when the moon is in Leo, it tends to be a little dramatic, right? Yeah, powerful energies for sure. I also saw, speaking of the current astrological climate, that there's another solar flare that either already happened or is happening, is hitting Earth, I believe, today or this weekend. And so literally, we're not just talking about the aspects the planets are making to each other. The sun is literally sending a ton of energy to us, and solar flares can affect the Earth's magnetic field, especially depending on which side of the Earth is closest to the sun. I'm not a scientist, but you can imagine, the sun is what keeps the whole solar system magnetized and orbiting and everything. And when it's throwing out, furling out, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, not strings, but it's shooting out fire that's like 14 times the size of Earth. Okay. So it's a lot. It's a lot of energy. Corby says today has been a day of enlightenment. Powerful dreams last night. The journals are complete. I can't wait to see them. Now for the production process to begin. I am so excited for you, Corby. I love it. I love it. And as we close out March, before we really get into the forecast, I want to honor the final Aries of March. Ewan McGregor is in Aries. Christopher Walken is in Aries. Love this. Cesar Chavez is in Aries. Al Gore. Rhea Perlman. I think that's how you say her first name. I recognize her. I think she's in the movie Matilda. She's a famous actress. Let's see. Anyone else popping out to you? And of course, if you are in Aries, if you know someone celebrating this weekend, give them a shout out in the comments so we can send some love their way. I'm just curious too, since we're going to be talking about April birthdays. I'm like, or the first weekend of April. Who was born on April Fool's Day? Logan Paul. who's like this huge YouTube celebrity. And I think he got famous for doing like pranks and stuff, which is funny because he was born on April Fool's Day. And I guess just to complete the weekend, who was born on April 2nd? Hans Christian Andersen. Quavo is an Aries. Marvin Gaye, let's get it on. Are you kidding? Very Aries energy, very direct. Rosalind Sanchez is an Aries. Even this picture, she is serving Aries energy right there. All right, well, let's get into the actual forecast, though. We'll start with Friday, then move into Saturday and Sunday. So today, the moon is in Leo, and as I mentioned, when the moon is in Leo, our emotions can feel a little more dramatic because Leo is the sign of expression, of creativity. I like to say when the moon is in Leo, it's like our emotions are on stage. And Leo energy can really tap us into like our inner child and that playfulness and that creativity and that freedom. But when the moon's in Leo, our inner toddler can come out just as easily. So we want to be mindful that we're not throwing any temper tantrums or over dramatizing things under the moon in Leo. This is only amplified by the fact that this is a waxing gibbous moon in Leo. So the moon is gaining more and more light every day right now as we make our way towards next Wednesday's full moon in Libra. And it's like the moon is getting brighter. It's in Leo. She's like, hey, I'm here. Notice me. Hey, those emotions, they're going to feel bigger because I want you to know that I have influence, right? So yes, the drama. But wait, there's more. That's going to be like the energy of today. But wait, there's more. Hi, Diane. She says, oh, yes, the person I know with a Leo stellium, they had their emotions on stage this morning. Send some love to your Leo friends. Well, let's talk about this morning specifically because early morning, 2 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Eastern time, the Leo moon squared the north and south nodes. So this is the current chart, but I'll just show you here where the moon, where is she? Over here, when she was at 5 degrees, she was creating a T-square to the north and south nodes. This happens twice a month, and I always call this an emotional turning point. It's this point where emotionally we realize, okay, we are activated. We want to go towards our highest calling, our highest purpose. We want to get out of our comfort zone, but in order to do that, we have to leave comfort behind. We have to leave what we know behind. So that's the energy we started the day with, like feeling right in the middle of where we want to be and where we've been and feeling that tension between the two. In this place, though, we can have realizations. And like Corby said, some enlightenment can come along with that if we are aware of what's going on and like, okay, this discomfort is activating me to step in the direction of my purpose. Yeah. But I think, I'm reading your comments. I think the energy, if you're really feeling the drama of the Leo moon, what you're most likely feeling is the conjunction between the Leo moon and Lilith. That is the story of this Friday, is the Leo moon coming into a conjunction with Lilith. And it's so interesting because I will tell you I'll spare you all the details, but during the Venus-Uranus conjunction, the moon opposing Pluto yesterday, these power struggles, these intense moments, right? I ended up in a pretty intense conversation about religion and the Bible. And like, I am not for or against. I call myself the spiritual journalist because I am just genuinely curious about why people believe what they believe and why they're so passionate about it. But I will say I should have known better knowing what was going on with the forecast. It's funny though, because I have been feeling called more and more, and I'm bringing up the Bible because I'm about to talk about Lilith. So I've been feeling called more and more just like names from the Bible or religious figures will kind of come into my awareness. And sometimes I feel this like, I wonder what that's about. So I started looking into Lilith last night after this conversation, just because I was like, I've learned about Lilith through the lens of astrology, but I'd really like to learn about Lilith through the Bible. And I learned that Lilith is actually not listed in the Bible. She is actually like a mythological story that's based in Jewish faith, I believe. So that's interesting. But astrologically, Lilith gets her name from that mythological story, and it was believed at some point this story came about that Lilith was Adam's first wife, created from the earth after Adam, and she refused to submit to him. She refused to be on bottom, or they kind of fought over who was going to be on top, who was going to dominate sexually and otherwise, right? Who is going to be in control. So when we're talking about Lilith, especially on a day like today, when we are feeling Lilith, we're talking about the parts of ourselves that we repress, the parts of ourselves that are hiding in the shadows, the parts of ourselves that want to come up and sting a little bit, want to be in control, want to dominate, maybe even a little manipulative, right? It's that wild feminine wrath that comes out when we feel like our equality, our liberty, anything is being suppressed. But really watering down Lilith, it's like our inner bitch. So that part of us that comes out when we feel like we have been wronged or treated in a way that is unjust. When we're talking, so you're like, okay, what's Lilith? I know the sun, I know the moon, I know Mars. These are actual planets. Lilith is actually, Black Moon Lilith is the point along the moon's orbit that's the farthest from Earth. So when I think of Lilith in my mind's eye, I literally think about this like dark, shadowy place that the moon goes to when it's the farthest away from us that it can possibly be. What's hiding in those shadows? When the moon is there, conjunct Lilith, emotionally we become aware of that darkness, of that hostility, that need for control, that need to be seen. Especially with Lilith and Leo, it's like we're going to be dramatic about our need for equality, our need to be seen, our need to be in control of ourselves. So, Corby, big reason why I've kept to myself and my journal today. Yeah, I think it's helpful to know. I definitely had some moments earlier in today where I'm like, okay, I'm being a little spicy, and who I'm interacting with, they're being a little spicy too. So knowing that, okay, we're all just a little bit bitchier today, like it's helpful. But Diane this is a great example. I witnessed the moment and did not engage. This moment where a person that has a lot of Leo in their chart had their emotions on stage, being able to just witness and be like, woo, the transits are hitting you hard, my friend. Woo, okay, I'm going to send some love your way and not engage. Yeah, that's helpful. Wow, Corby. In one of my dreams, I was calling out religious figures who were laundering money and manipulating people. Whoa. The dream ended with me telling those who were oppressed that they could heal themselves. I just got chills. Wow. Feels like maybe a premonition of sorts too. Who knows? But wow, what a powerful dream. So maybe you were connecting with Lilith in that way, because there is like this sense of wanting equality and wanting, well, Lilith is kind of our unruly side, so just very, very interesting that synchronicity came up, as religion was definitely part of my experience yesterday too. So that's the energy we're definitely feeling today. The moon conjunct Lilith. Whew, firecracker. That was exact at like 10 a.m. So really all afternoon. You saw the chart. We're still feeling it. Late tonight, we could experience an upset, a shift, a trigger, maybe even some healing in that process, because I'll pull up the chart and I'll fast forward here about 6 hours or so, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The moon is harmonizing with Chiron at 15 degrees, forming that trine to Chiron, but also coming into a square with Uranus and then Venus overnight as well. So what I think we'll feel the most strongly on Friday night is that square to Uranus. When the moon squares Uranus, expect the unexpected. It's really playing into that Venus-Uranus conjunction that we got into detail on yesterday. When the moon squares Uranus, if you were trying to bypass or avoid anything that was coming up during the Venus-Uranus conjunction, Uranus is going to be like, hey, I'm going to T-bone you with this. You can't ignore me anymore. So again, anytime the moon squares Uranus, expect mood swings. emotional upsets, especially with the moon in Leo. That's when those inner toddler moments could happen. Surprises are definitely possible too, like someone going over the top on a Friday night, but there's also this intense craving or need for a thrill, especially with Venus right there. When the moon squares Venus, we're needy, we want pleasure. So late Friday night, you could feel like you're seeking a thrill, like you just really want to feel good. It could be easy to, honestly, Friday night's kind of like a party night. If you are leaning into that energy at all tonight, it could be easy to like go overboard if you're going out. And then I could see people making fools of themselves, you know, being like a little too much of a lush, and then being the obnoxious person that is the disruptor, you know, because people will probably also be feeling a little bit more rebellious. Lilith is still right there too, a little more rebellious, a little bit more willing to like poke the bear, you know. So, and if alcohol or any sort of substance is involved, that can just exacerbate things. We're definitely going to be feeling that party, that playfulness, that fun with the moon in Leo. We just want to have a good time. But with the moon in Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus, it's like, yeah, disruptions could kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah, Angie on Instagram says, definitely let my inner Lilith out last night and this morning. I think, you know, if that was you, if you, like some of us, had the same experience, giving yourself grace, being willing to apologize to whoever you unleashed Lilith on, and knowing that it's okay. Like we're all having human experiences here, you know, and some days are more difficult than others. And part of the process of relating to other people and being in relationship and having harmonious connections is being willing to repair and own up to it when we're like, okay, we might have been a little intense there for a moment, you know. With the moon in Leo right now, it can feel a little like it's all about me and my experience and having fun and my expression, especially tonight during the square to Uranus. It's like this need to be free and uninhibited and like no one's going to stop me from expressing myself authentically, but that can be very disruptive if we're not mindful of other people's experience too. This person's chart, her ascendant is at 16 degrees of Leo. So she's going through a 12th house transit too. Ooh. Uranus is there too. So the moon went over her Uranus. The moon went over her Mercury today. Mars, yeah, that's coming. The moon's coming into her Mars and her Venus tomorrow too. And oh, her natal Lilith is in Taurus. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no wonder. Isn't it for me? And, you know, in this kind of heated conversation I was having about religion, astrology, of course, came up. And I think I've shared this with you all before, but I hope, I mean, if you're here, I don't have to convince you to believe in astrology, right? You're here. You feel that there's a benefit, right? But all I was, how do I say this like nicely? I'm kind of tripping over my words here, but my job is not to convince you that astrology is real. Like my job, it feels, or what I feel I am here to do, at least in this phase of my life, is share with you what's coming up as a tool for reflection and compassion and relation. And I bring that up because, you know, Diane's like, okay, I'm looking at this person's chart and like, wow, they must be having a rough time. Pre-understanding astrology, I'm sure it would have been very easy to be like, oh my gosh, that person's being the worst today. What is their problem? I don't want to deal with them. Maybe I don't even want to have a relationship with them anymore. Like, oh my, ugh. For me, and I hope for many of you, astrology has become a way to be like, whew, I feel for them. They must be having a hard time. Things will get easier in the next couple of days, hopefully when the moon moves back over her ascendant and into her first house. So yeah, I love astrology as a tool for compassion and self-awareness. Check yourself and think of others some too. Yeah. A tool for understanding. It's data, right? It's like data God, spirit, the universe is giving us through what the planets are doing. Here's the energetic data. If it resonates, awesome. If this doesn't resonate for you, then this isn't meant for you. And that's okay too, you know? I guess my Lilith is coming out and I'm feeling a little spicy today, if you can't tell. Yeah. I'm having a Pluto opposition, that's right, with a T-square in Taurus. Yikes. Put on the big girl boots. You got this. Lean into that transformation, Terry. It's happening for you. I can't wait to see what happens on the other side of that Pluto opposition. It's going to be a long-term opposition, so buckle up and lean in. It's going to be awesome. Might be a little dark at times, but it's going to be awesome. It's been a way for me to better understand myself and the shifts in energies. Definitely. I just said I love astrology too. I love it. Bree says, understanding astrology also helped me realize a lot of what's mine and what I'm taking on that's others. Yes. Yes. Interesting to hear what the stars say. Saw a ghost once, more to the world than I know, right? And how arrogant to think like we know everything. Like, this is just a practice that humans have been studying for thousands of years now, and, you know, accumulating this like mass collection of data of what it means, what we have experienced through records and recollections when these planets form these different aspects. This is just human observation 101, you know. But I love that you said interesting to hear what the stars say, because I do feel like they're just like little, I actually said this yesterday, I think, to my partner. I was like, you know, again, I was all worked up. It's like, they're just like cosmic messengers up there, and they're kind of different characters, right? These planets, they represent different aspects of ourselves, but they're just sending us messages, I truly feel. And, you know, I'm not against believing in a creator or a specific religion, but don't you think that that creator put the planets up there and made them do certain things at certain times for a reason? I don't know. I do. Okay, enough philosophy for me. The moon's moving into my 12th house. Can you tell? I came from a religious background, Corby says. So that is an area of passion for me. And it makes me so hopeful to hear that. And I really believe more people are waking up right now and will continue to wake up. And I am very hopeful that we can all realize that what we're talking about is kind of all the same thing, regardless of what names you're calling everything. We are all one, right? We are all religions are believing in a creator, something higher than us that is controlling our experience, or kind of, you know, the puppet master of the universe, if you will. So, Corby, I would love to chat with you about religion. That's all I have to say about that. Even for myself, I began seeing myself in a new light and realizing why I've gone through the things, and giving myself grace where needed, more understanding for the things I can't control, better direction. Yeah. Saving those who can get lost in the sauce and become oppressed or in occult limiting spaces where they are manipulated. And that goes for anything. That goes for religion. I mean, I'm sure, I am absolutely sure at some point, if not right now, people are using astrology to manipulate people. You know what I mean? Like everything can be used as a tool to manipulate or to better ourselves. Yeah, astrology symbols in an ancient Egyptian tomb. I believe it. Now I got to find that article so I can share it with everybody. Yeah, isn't it fun to look at the charts of the people you know and be like, oh, that's why you are the way you are. The stars guided our ancestors as they navigated the sea, and now they help us navigate our lives when we are lost and seeking direction. Yeah, the clockmaker theory, exactly. Pluto and this whole conversation is very Pluto and Aquarius. Don't even get me started on, I'm not going to talk about the major news that came out in the US yesterday yet, because I have a whole download that came to me about that and the astrological connection, but I'm already fired up, and the moon is conjunct Lilith today, and that is not a conversation that we need to have on a day like today, but I will be having it because it's pretty interesting. Exactly, Corby. She says, yes, it's all the same. People get caught up on words and certain actions. Amen to that. Yeah. I'm going to get off my soapbox too. Yes. We should. We just need to call each other up and do a deep dive, right? Maybe we'll do like a Zoom call or something. Wow. Christians say the stargazers were the first to identify their Christ. Interesting. I know, right? Pluto and Aquarius, baby. We're here for it. I'm not going to talk more about religion because I am not an expert on religion. I didn't grow up in the church. I'm very curious about it, though. And the more I get into astrology and spirituality, the more open I am actually to learning about religion and the Bible and different kinds of religions from the right source. Okay, let's talk about Saturday. The moon stays in Leo on Saturdays, so you know it's going to be a little dramatic still, right? Here's what she's doing, though. We have mostly really nice connections with the Leo moon on Saturday. Things should feel good. Overnight, the moon will square Venus right after that square to Uranus. And so late night cravings, midnight snacks, definitely in the forecast, late Friday night or early Saturday morning. That's at, let me see, 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern time. So I could see you waking up on Saturday morning and being like, I really want donuts this morning, or really having that intense craving or need for pleasure. Okay. So notice that late Friday night, early Saturday morning. But the story the moon is telling, actually, you can even see it on the chart here, that square to both Uranus and Venus. We need it to feel thrilling. We need it to feel pleasurable. Might be a little over the top with the moon in Leo. Woo. Okay. Everything else that happens with the moon in Leo after this is positive. It's really quite lovely. So you'll see that the moon will come into, I went a little far here. The moon will come into a trine with Jupiter first, then Mercury second throughout the day. So that trine to Jupiter happens 6 a.m. Pacific time, very early in the morning. And then the trine to Mercury happens late at night, 10 p.m. Pacific time. So all that to say that the moon is forming harmonious, flowing, passionate connections all day on Saturday. When the moon harmonizes with Jupiter and Aries, we have the optimism, we have the passion to do whatever the heck we want on Saturday. It's like go big or go home, have all the fun. It's very generous. It's like spend the money. It's going to be fine. Who cares? You only live once. And I'm very optimistic that whatever money I put out is going to come back to me tenfold. It's fortunate connections. It's, good luck definitely in the forecast on Saturday. The vibes are going to feel great. Very uplifting, happy-go-lucky. And with these trines playing out in fire signs, oh my gosh, Rose enters when we're talking about this fiery energy on Saturday. So perfect for our resident fire trine woman. She says, I'm back from an off-island trip. It's been a while, but happy new astrological year. Happy belated birthday, Rose. Saturday is a day you are going to love because it's all fire energy on Saturday. Yes, we missed you and hope you enjoyed your time away. So it's easy to feel good. It feels good to feel good on Saturday. And we'll have plenty of energy to back up those good feelings. We might feel a little spontaneous, like we want to go on a little mini adventure on Saturday. We might, with the moon in Leo, I could see it being like, not only do you want to go on the adventure, but you want to document it the whole way. We want to look cute for it. We want to take selfies along the hike or along the shopping trip, right? So we're just feeling ourselves on Saturday. And then late Saturday night, 10 p.m. Pacific time, so very late into the night Eastern time, the moon is harmonizing with Mercury as well, which can bring through insights. Mercury and Aries, it might be like passionate conversations that are happening late Saturday night. Again, just positive mindset. I will say that Mercury and Aries harmonizing with the moon and Leo could make for very fast conversations and, again, very passionate conversations, but it should feel like there's some gold nuggets in there. There's good fortune. A trine, these 120-degree angles that we're talking about all day on Saturday, it's balance, it's ease, it's flow, and it's a fiery flow because we're talking about these connections in all fire signs. So, Rose, you are so sweet. Thank you so very much. Just, this is the vibe. This is the energy. I'm telling you, this is what Saturday is going to feel like. Just wanting to be generous and like, there's tons of abundance to work with on Saturday too. I mean, Rose, you are just the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, sounds good to me. After the week we've had, first we had that Mercury-Jupiter conjunction earlier this week, and it was like, whoa, the insights, the big plans, like a mental overload. Then we had the Venus-Uranus conjunction, and stuff probably came out of nowhere for you. I don't know. For me, it definitely did. Lots of shifts and changes that we're still processing today. You know, Venus and Uranus are still very close to each other. So by Saturday, it's nice that we get a fun, passionate, exciting day in the forecast with not too much resistance to go along with it. We will absolutely take that. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a good Saturday. I'm excited. I will say Mars and Saturn are still harmonizing in the background in a trine of their own on Saturday. So you can see that they're pulling away. They're separating from the trine. That to me feels like it is going to help us pace ourselves, trust our intuition, feel things out, because with so much fire energy in the chart, it could be easy to just, you know, like one single flame blowing up into an entire forest fire. It could be easy to be a little over the top, to overdo it. So Mars and Saturn harmonizing feels like it brings this level of maturity, of kind of, yes, there's plenty of motivation here, but Saturn's like, okay, let's also be realistic and responsible and mature and understanding of the energy and the emotions around us as well, with Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. It's that just checking in with our gut instinct as a way of being mature. Terry, you guys, you are so sweet. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for these super chats. You're just making my Friday. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Terry. Good things are coming your way. Absolutely. That's the vibe. That's manifestation right there. You put a little out, it's coming back to you tenfold. So I am excited to see how this abundance comes back to you. And I'm so, so grateful to receive it from you today. You guys are just making my heart burst. I'm ready for the good. This week has been a dumpster fire. I'm ready for the good too. I'm ready for a little bit of just like fun, a little more carefree. Feels like that could be the energy of Saturday. You might also really want to move your body on Saturday, like going out dancing, going for a run, doing a fun like class style workout or something, going on a hike. When the moon is in a fire sign, I always say move your body. It's going to help you move your emotions, like literally getting your blood pumping and moving that heat, that fire through you. But especially with the moon making multiple connections to planets in Aries, both Jupiter and Mercury. And Mercury likes to move quickly, right? Jupiter is a lot. So it's going to feel like the energy of fire is definitely amplified on Saturday. If it's feeling like a little much, just move your body. It could be as simple as putting on one song you love and just moving that energy through you. Shouldn't feel like a lot of tension, as I mentioned, but you know, for those of us who don't have a lot of fire in our charts, sometimes fire energy can be a little much. You know, Rose though, Rose is going to be living her best life. Thank you. I just got it cut. I finally got it trimmed. So the ends they're healthy again. Thank you, Rose. Hi, Katie. Loving this Leo moon right before my trip. Yes. When do you leave, Katie? Do you leave for Ireland soon? Like soon? I need to know. Yeah. Easygoing, laid back, fun energy. Disco Inferno. Yes. That is the vibe. Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. That's the Saturday song. Yes, I'm going to remember that for my Saturday song on Instagram. Are you going to Ireland on Sunday? Is that happening? I'm like, oh my gosh, is it that trip? So exciting. Well, that's a perfect segue into Sunday's forecast. So very interesting that you'll be having your lunar return on Sunday as you leave for this trip, because the moon moves into Virgo overnight. So let me pull up the chart when she finally makes her way into Virgo, and you will see Sunday should feel a little more grounding, a little more low key with the moon in Virgo. There she is. The only connections she's making on Sunday will be, let me pull up the forecast here, certainly in opposition to Saturn, yes, and then a sextile to Mars. Okay, so let's just talk about the Virgo moon. Oh my gosh, leaving to Ireland on your lunar return on a Virgo moon. And the moon will be going into your 9th house, if I'm not mistaken, too, right? At some point during the trip. And the 9th house is all about long-term travel, expansion, expanding your mind, seeing different philosophy. Like, how perfect to begin a trip during that transit. So awesome. The moon in Virgo, the waxing gibbous moon in Virgo. The waxing gibbous moon is a time to gather a little bit more data before the culmination point of the full moon that will be in Libra in the following sign. So this is a very analytical energy with the waxing gibbous moon moving into Virgo. It's kind of like putting on the glasses that allow you to see a little more clearly, to see the details in the distance and being like, ooh, actually, I need that detail. Oh, that little tidbit of information, that changes the plan, or that's the missing piece I needed to bring the vision I am creating and hoping to blossom and bloom and come to fruition to its fullest potential. So over the days that the waxing gibbous moon moves through Virgo, really pay attention to the details. Put on an analytical mindset. It'll be easier to do so. And also analyzing our own emotions comes more naturally with the moon in Virgo, because the moon rules our emotions and our inner experience. So noticing as you are experiencing the Virgo moon, maybe even reflecting on, how do I feel about the intentions I set under the Aries new moon? Are there any adjustments I need to make to those? Is there anything I want to shift or change now that I have more information? We're allowed to upgrade, to shift, to change a little bit. We don't have to be set in stone with the intentions we set on a new moon. So, oh my gosh. The full moon's going to be in your 9th house on this trip to Ireland. Amazing. Amazing. So cool. You're going to have an amazing trip. I can't wait to hear all about it. So back to the Virgo moon. We're all just getting very excited for Katie here. Pay attention to the details with the moon in Virgo. And at the same time, try not to be too critical. That's definitely a shadow side of Virgo energy. Take it from a double Virgo over here. We can be self-critical of our own emotions, critical of other people's emotions. Just because we are more aware of the details, it's a little more difficult to just let things slide, let things pass us by. So we can use this energy starting on Sunday to our advantage by analyzing. How are things going since the new moon? How do I feel since the new moon? Are there any adjustments or changes I need to make? Is there anything I need to bring into my field, into my awareness, gather more information, gather more resources to get to the point I want to be at for the full moon in Libra next week? Yes, hitting my 11th house, praying for clarity around that space. That the Virgo moon should be hitting your 11th house, right? This full moon in Libra could be a big release for you, I feel like, Corby, a big closing of one chapter so you can begin a new one, because that lunar eclipse in Scorpio next month is probably going to be in your 1st house. And my Lilith. We've talked a lot about Lilith. You're good. You're fine. You're going to be great. You've got all the tools. Okay, let's talk about what's happening with the Virgo moon, though, because I brought up the chart here, and you can see the moon will oppose Saturn. This happens at about 8 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 11 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. When the moon opposes Saturn, we can feel a little bit down, a little depressing, a little lonely. We might want to isolate. We might want to just take space to ourselves, especially with the moon in Virgo. I have noticed as I lean more into my Virgo energy, I didn't really notice this about myself when I was younger because I'm an only child. So I often had my own space and had silence if I wanted it. But I could see Sunday morning in particular being a morning where you're just like reveling in your quiet space, being alone with your mind, allowing yourself to really like sit with you and like, how am I feeling? Maybe doing some journaling, using that analytical energy to just check in with yourself. And the opposition to Saturn could help you be a little bit more realistic about your feelings. But I will say an opposition to Saturn can just be kind of a downer. Like you might be tired or moving slowly on Sunday morning or just kind of in a blech mood. That will pass. That will pass. And if you are feeling that, full permission to just take that space for yourself. Use that time for self-analysis. Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? What is out of alignment with the intentions I set under the new moon, with what I'm calling in this new astrological year? How can I use solitude and take some distance in order to find my power, my authority, my maturity again with the moon opposing Saturn? Yes. Oh my gosh. Obvious. I'm sure you're going to do this already, but bring a journal. I feel like any international trip, that's something I wish I would have done on my last international trip, is just wrote down a little tidbit in a journal every day at the end of the day about how that day went. I did that years ago when I went to Europe, and it's so cool occasionally when I look back on it to be like, wow, what an experience. I'm shedding all this weight before fully moving forward. Yeah. That's what's happening for you. But whew, Taurus season, that lunar eclipse in your first house, powerful moment. Can't wait for it. Yes, Katie absolutely deserves it. She is in mom mode. She is doing all the things, taking care of all the people in her life. I'm so excited for you to have this experience. It's absolutely going to be life-changing, and I am sending all the good vibes, energy, prayers that it's going to be so fulfilling and more than you can even possibly imagine. Like, I am living vicariously through you and you haven't even gone yet. Send pictures too. Can we all like check in on Katie's adventures? Yeah. So Sunday morning, depending on what time you fly out on Sunday, Katie, just know you might be feeling the weight of getting to the airport and all the responsibilities and the limitations and things like that with the moon opposing Saturn. You'll get on the plane. It'll be fine. But they could feel like kind of a weight on us on Sunday morning, all of us, with the moon opposing Saturn. But then the moon will form a sextile to Mars. That happens at about noon, so 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, middle of the day. That's the last connection we'll talk about this weekend. When the moon forms that sextile to Mars, it feels like getting stuff done, being productive. The Virgo moon loves to be productive, moving, going, doing. It's like by allowing yourself to take that space, that silence, that slowness in the morning to just gather yourself or process any ickiness that might be coming up, any limiting beliefs, fears, doubts that Saturn might be bringing up. By the afternoon, it'll be much easier to move. We can lean into getting stuff done. So it feels like a great energy with Mars and Cancer too, to like clean your house. With Moon and Virgo and Mars and Cancer, that would be a great activity on Sunday. Clean your house. It feels like also maybe an opportunity to kind of prepare and get everything set for the week ahead. Virgo moon, again, it's not just productive. It's like the to-do list. It's being organized. It's feeling like you're prepared and you're ready to serve through your own productivity and your own organization. And so with that energy forming a sextile, a supportive connection to Mars and Cancer, it's like taking that and putting it into action and also nurturing other people in the process with Mars and Cancer. So I could see a lot of us, meal prepping for the family for the week ahead, or again, cleaning our house so it's nice for everybody who lives there, or just getting your stuff in order for the week ahead too. I like the energy of Sunday, but I am definitely biased because I'm much more of an earth energy girl than a fire energy girl. So that's the weekend. Lots of moon transits. In general, it feels like what's happening with the Leo moon. There's like a rumbling on Friday. It's a little bit irritating, aggravating, maybe a little much, a little bold. Saturday is like this higher expression of fire energy, of movement and fun and play and optimism and insights and passionate conversations. And then Sunday does feel much slower, much more low-key, focused on getting stuff done rather than having like fun, heightened experiences like the focus is for Saturday. And you know, what is our affirmation? I didn't update it. Here it is. I think this will be helpful for anyone feeling the wrath of Lilith today or this weekend in general. The affirmation that came through is, I am brave enough to bring my shadows to light. Remember, coming back to talking about Lilith, the farthest location of the moon from Earth, representing what's been repressed, what's been hiding in the shadows. It takes bravery. And thank goodness we've got a Leo moon and it's Aries season. There's plenty of courage. There's plenty of bravery on our side with where the planets are right now. It takes bravery to be willing to feel the trigger and then be like, why did that trigger come up? What have I been repressing? What's hiding in there that I am not paying full attention to? Because I think that's a lot of times when Lilith does come out, when we have been like, something's been irritating us and we've just let it kind of slide and we've just kept pushing it down until it can't be pushed down anymore. And then Lilith is in full force, just kind of taking control of the situation. So being brave enough to go beneath the trigger, to go beneath the irritation, to go beneath the bitchiness and be like, what's hiding there? Why am I responding this way? Why am I reacting this way? Why do I feel out of control right now? How can I come back to my own power, my own self? And truly knowing yourself on a deeper level is where I believe a lot of empowerment comes from. Knowing, oh, that's there. I feel that way. I have this desire. I have this thing that I've been pushing down. Okay, how can I honor that thing? How can I give it what it needs so it stops controlling me and instead I'm the one in the driver's seat. I'm in control, because truly that's what Lilith wants. She wants to be in control. She wants to be validated, be seen, be heard. And we all have that within us, right? So being brave enough to go deep in ourselves and bring our shadows to light. Brilliant. I don't know what that's referring to, but I like it. Okay, let's finish up with a tarot pull, a card pull. We've been talking so much about the moon and the Leo moon specifically, that the Queen of the Moon Oracle just felt right because, you know, Leo is all about royalty. The Queen of the Moon feels good. So this is your opportunity to ask any final questions, share any final insights. Let me know what you are doing this weekend. Katie says, I love this. I am familiar and comfortable in the serious and the dark, but I feel like this stage is about bringing light into my life and to be okay with my shadows and the light. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that fully. You and I were very earthy, airy people. And yeah, I think with this fire energy Friday and Saturday, sometimes bringing our shadows to the light can just be like fun. Being like, I'm going to show up and have fun, even though I am working through the darkness. I don't want to stay in the darkness all the time. We can bring all of that with us into the light and have fun still, and then go back and do the work too. It's okay. We can be both. We can do all of the above all at the same time. The human experience is not linear, right? Okay. Just going to pull one card for the whole weekend. I was going to do a 3-card pull, but this deck called to me and the card just flipped over. And of course, it's the perfect card. It's card number 9, Assessing. I love that this came up after talking about the Virgo moon, the waxing gibbous moon, a time of assessment and adjustment. So here is the message. It's time to assess your current position. You must make sure your blind spots are revealed and that you are honest with others and yourself. Sometimes the hard decision is the best decision. You should be able to assess and move quickly based on that assessment. I am enjoying moving and choosing, moving and choosing. You have begun your journey, and now it is time to assess where you are and what to do next. You've made a decision, you have worked and walked the path for some time, and yet you understand that in every journey, it's a wise action to check the map. Sometimes we go along a pathway and we keep going, even if it seems like that way is no longer the right way for us. Sometimes we feel we've gone too far to turn around, and so we settle on a journey and destination that doesn't really suit us or satisfy us. However, if we had just had some courage, we could have reassessed as we went and perhaps ended up somewhere else, somewhere better. If we had just had some courage, we could have reassessed as we went and perhaps ended up somewhere else, somewhere better. Now is the time to look carefully at all aspects of your life, especially the areas in which you have set some intentions or goals. Ask yourself, do I still want these things? Do I still want the same results? If the answer is no, ask yourself what you can do to maintain momentum and head towards what you do now desire. Although it doesn't seem terribly glamorous, assessment has a high payoff for us if we bother to do it well. Doing it well means we really look hard at how things are going. All of us have some kind of blind spot, so it's worth exposing this by consulting a trusted friend or finding where negative repeating patterns are and looking for the cause. Shining a light on a blind spot and taking action to shift it is one of life's big catalysts for change. If this isn't the perfect card for everything we've just talked about, even it saying that assessing, checking in with the map isn't terribly glamorous. Glamour is the vibe for Saturday. It is glamorous. It's the Leo moon. It's fiery. It's fun. It's passionate. But once that moon moves into Virgo, it's assessment time. It's like, okay, let's check in with the map. This even talks about referencing or referring back to the intentions you set under a new moon, being like, is that still what I want? Is the path I'm on going to get me there? How can I adjust? How can I assess? I mean, I don't even need to say anything more because this card just said it all. It was so perfect. And your progressed moon is moving into Sagittarius. Again, perfect for these travel vibes. The fire energy is getting me ready for it. Fear, false events appearing real. Interesting. Very fitting card for me today. Rose says, I'm diving deeper into learning how to play in the stock market with some astrological insight. I believe it was Warren Buffett who said, millionaires have accountants, billionaires have astrologers, or something like that. There's a famous quote. So I love that. Get rich for all of us. Hi, Tanner. Happy to see you. Happy free day. Feel the magic. Love that. I like that more than Friday. Free day? All right, everyone. What a beautiful card. What a beautiful conversation. I love this for all of us too. Finding ourselves so we can honor our highest good. Absolutely. Thanks for holding space for my Lilith to get a little fired up and get on my little soapbox. I tried to rein it in. Someone on Instagram said, Lilith is ready to rise. Yes, she is. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, though. That is the last little cautionary message I will leave you with. Find your power, go into your shadows, assess the path ahead, but also check yourself before you wreck yourself, especially tonight, Friday night, as the Leo moon squares Uranus. Okay. Have a beautiful weekend. Have an amazing trip to Katie. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I love chatting with you all. Ooh, Terry's going to start playing the lottery. I think if we all just start trying different modalities of getting rich, one of us is going to hit it big. And, then we can just share with everyone else. If that's cool with you, that'd be cool with me. All right. Anyway, just babbling on now. I am so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for those of you who continue to show up for yourselves, who continue to cheer on each other and share the insights that God, Spirit, the universe is sending you so we can all have this collective consciousness and process the energies together. It is truly magic every time we come together to do this. And I hope you feel the magic too. I will be back on Monday to chat with you all about the week ahead and the energy that's heading our way to get us ready for that full moon in Libra. I hope that you are so immersed in your experience, Katie, that you're not even thinking about us while you're away. But if you do think about us, send some pictures so we can send you some love. And just know that regardless, we will be thinking about you and sending you love and safe travels and hoping that you are having an amazing experience. Rose, it's because Rose, she apparently the stock market is just waiting for you, Rose. You're just putting out all that abundance and it's going to come back to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take the best waterproof suit for the wonderful wild Irish weather. Great piece of advice. All right. Have a beautiful weekend. I love you all so much, and I will see you when I see you next. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.